Hello, hello everyone. My name is Denise, and this is Worship and Wisdom, formerly the Gift of Wisdom. Please forgive me, first of all, just for my appearance. I don't normally come on here quite this way, but I felt the Lord just nudging me to get on and share this real quick. And I've titled it, it's just going to be a few minutes, but I've titled it, God is Still God, even in the midst of a Cat 4 storm. We all know Florida had a hurricane last night, Category 4. And as I sat here alone in my home last night through this storm, and yes, I definitely would have much rather have been with others. And I apologize, my battery is going out here. But due to circumstances, that is not how things worked out. So it was just me and my God. And as I sat here, I knew that I had to stay hid in His Word. I had to stay hid in God so that my mind would stay covered. And so, I let Psalms 91 play on recording before the power went out, of course. But I let it play and just listen to it, for a couple hours over and over again. And we all know it. It talks about us staying hid underneath the shadow of the Almighty, underneath His wings, and how He will not allow any harm or plagues to befall us as we stay hidden in Him. And so I knew that I needed to stay hid in Him and to be covered underneath His wings. And, after a short period of time, I began to just talk to Him and just ask Him, say, Lord, well, what is it that you want me to get or learn from this experience? It was only the second time I'd been through a hurricane, having been in Florida maybe 5 years now. And I knew the first time it happened was right after moving here, right? And it was not an experience I wanted to go through at all. And I prayed and I cried out to God to let this thing pass, just as I did this time. And still nothing, right? I knew deep in my spirit that this was something I was going to have to go through. And this has only happened to me only two other times. Like I said, the the hurricane that I first experienced after moving here 5 years ago. And actually before that, probably about 10 years ago, I went through something, another situation totally unrelated to any type of natural disasters. And so this being the third time really of praying and asking God to let this pass from me, I knew that deep down inside I was going to have to go through it for a reason. And so I prayed and I asked God, what is it that you want me to learn from this experience? As I was talking to Him last night, and He began to speak some things to me personally, yes, but He began to give me a word for the body and for those believers, out there. And, this is really a word also, part of it, I guess, can really apply to those unbelievers as well. But to the believers, I heard the Lord saying that He says a person can always run. They can run from anything and from anyone. They can run from their calling, or they can run from the fear of a storm such as last night. And God said, though you can never run from me, and you can never run from the truth of what I want you to face. And I thought, wow, okay, Lord, yes, I know that. Yes, oh God, okay. But He says He wants the body, He wants believers to know that and to understand that. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what you're facing in life, be it a storm in the natural realm or in the spiritual realm. God says you can run if you want, but at some point in time, you're going to have to go through If he wants you to go through that storm, you're going to go through that storm. But if you stay yielded to him in obedience, if you allow him to work in and through you what he wants to do, God is going to work that thing out for good. And that it is only for good that you're even going through what you're going through. And so I began to listen to that, and I began to just allow the Lord to minister to me what he wanted to minister to me and speak to me what he was speaking. Because at that point, even before that point, I knew it was beyond me and what I was facing, as I had gone through situations 2 other times in my life, similar situations, and that it was beyond me. It was about what God wanted to do in and through me after this experience. And so he, like I said, had given me a peace before this point even, but now it was about getting everything I could get from this and learn everything I could learn through this experience. And so I want to encourage those of you out there who may be facing a situation where there's fear, right? The enemy is going to use any and everything he can to take away your faith and to destroy your faith and your trust in God. And one of the biggest tools I find is that he uses fear. He uses fear. And if it's something that you faced in your life or that you struggle with, he's going to continue to use that until he has a victory. That is, unless you stand up and put your foot down and say, enough is enough. I'm not going to allow fear to overtake me. God has said that he has not given us a spirit of fear in 2 Timothy, not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind, right? And so I want to encourage you to stand strong in him and in the Lord and in the power of his might. And allow him to do what he's going to do. Allow him to cover you. Allow him to protect you. He's given angels charge over you to keep you in all of your ways, lest you dash your foot against a stone. So remember that. Don't ever forget that. Stand and let him do what he wants to do. He's only allowing things for your good. It's not to bring harm to you. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us that he knows the plans he has for you, to prosper you and not harm you, to give you hope and to give you a future. So he's not going to allow this storm to overtake you, right? He's not going to allow it to overpower you. You can allow that to happen. But he's not going to let that come about to destroy you. And so I want to encourage those of you who may face situations, similar situations, or even a storm in the physical, natural realm, such as I faced last night. Even alone, something I didn't want to do at all. I said, God, I could be okay. I think a little bit more okay going through this storm if I had someone here in the physical realm with me to face it like I did the first time 5 years ago when I moved here, right? But that's not how things worked out, and that's not how God wanted it to work out in my life. I had to go through it. I had to face it, and I knew that. I knew it. I knew it before it even really started. And but God was with me every step of the way. His peace was there. He enveloped me. He kept me. And he gave me, and he's even giving me now, miracles, which is one thing I prayed and I decreed and I declared before going into the storm, that there would be miracle signs and wonders, even around me where I live here, some miracles, that I don't have the time, or even my battery is not going to last here to really take the time to share it with you. But he gave me that. He showed me that as I left out of my place this morning just to kind of take a short drive, right? So be encouraged. when you're up against a storm, be it in the physical realm, the natural realm, or in the spiritual. Know that God is with you. He loves you. He's promised never to leave you or forsake you. My name is Denise. Thanks for stopping by today and listening.